But if you think superannuation is a fantastic structure to invest in and want to move assets into the superannuation environment, you need to be wary of the contribution limits. Now, there are two types of contribution limits. One is the concessional limits. Now, for somebody who is under 50 years of age, that limit is currently $25,000 per annum. Now, for someone who is over 50 years of age, there is a transitional concessional contribution cap of $50,000. Now, that is scheduled to end at the end of this financial year, so on the 30th of June 2012, and it's then going to default back to $25,000. Now, the government has announced in the federal budget that they're going to allow people who are over 50 and have a superannuation balance of less than $500,000, that they'll still have access to this $50,000 contribution or concessional contribution limit. So there is a strategy that I've mentioned in another webinar. I think it's called the Top 10 Tax Tips webinar, where I also address the federal budget. You can access that either on my website, cornerstonewealth.com.au, or my YouTube channel, so www.youtube.com/askgav. I address that contribution splitting to enable people who are over age 50 to access that higher contribution limit after the 30th of June 2012. So I won't go into it anymore here. But these concessional contribution limits include superannuation guaranteed contribution, so they're your 9% employer contribution, salary sacrifice, and personal deductible contributions. So just be wary of those. The other type of contribution limit is non-concessional contributions. So these are what we call post-tax contributions. So it's money that you've got outside of superannuation that you're going to put, that you've already paid tax on, that you're going to put into super. Now, those limits are currently $150,000 per annum, or if you're less than 65 years of age, you can bring forward 2 years of contribution limits and put in a lump sum of $450,000. Now, it's really important that you don't breach those limits. In the 2010 financial year, about 60,000 people, over 60,000 people, breached those limits because they halved. So these limits were previously $50,000 and $100,000. Now they halved and people didn't adjust their circumstances and they've breached their limits. So they've been subject to penalty tax rates which are either 46.5%, or if you've breached both limits, it could potentially be 93% tax on those excessive contributions. So I can't stress it enough, make sure that you don't breach your contribution limits.